they've done studies on it. When people watch other people do things, their brain lights up in the same exact way as when someone else does the thing. So for instance, they had a group of old ladies knitting, and when they had another group of ladies watching those women knit, and they did MRI scans on those ladies' brains, and they found that both sets of ladies, the ones who were knitting and ones who were just watching, their brains lit up in the exact same way. So it didn't matter that they were just watching the other person knit; their brain was lighting up in the same way. And the fact that their brain was had mirrored neurons essentially is that it's able to pick up on what someone else is doing, and it stimulates the brain in the same way, which is super interesting. And I think that's why a lot of us really like games. It's because we can go out there and get all these adventures in. We can be successful. We can take down tough bosses, tough challenges. We can go out there in risky situations, and we can do so without the worries of harming ourselves, without the worries of failure really as much, because it's just a game, but we still get all of the mirrored neurons from that game and from television and things like that. So it is very interesting once you start to learn how this mind works. And it's really cool because then you can start to take back control of your mind. Because what you need to understand is if you're not using your mind currently in the capacity that I'm talking about, then really what's going to be happening is that you will be um, you'll be programmed, right? And it may be for good, it may be for bad, it may be a mix of both, and that really just depends on your environment. But the good news is that if you take back control of your mind, then you could be the one to program your mind. You could be the one to say, this is where we're going to go. This is the goals I want. I'm going to start programming my mind for this. And it's going to be so much easier to get to that point. A lot of times when people self-sabotage, which is really just like taking actions against your main goals, right? Like if you want to start eating healthier and you just start picking out on junk food, and you're like, well, it's hard because I keep getting these cravings or urges to eat the junk food. And so you keep going back, or you try to stop smoking marijuana or cigarettes or stop drinking alcohol, and you keep going back to the thing, or you tell yourself you're never going to date someone like that again, and you keep dating someone exactly like that. There's a reason why this is happening. And the reason why this is happening is really because this part of your mind is just drawn to the familiar, right? And so, and you're not the person who's taking control of your mind. Someone else is, or society is, or the environment is. And so your mind is just being programmed from whoever and whatever. And it's kind of like if your controller is your mind, your subconscious mind, right? And you could be the person controlling the controller, but instead it's just sitting out someplace and other people are picking it up and they're putting in different inputs, making you jump, making you do certain things, right? That's what you can kind of equivalate this to, is that this part of your mind is like a controller. And so if you want to take back control of your mind, you need to be the one holding the controller. You need to be the one putting the inputs into it. You need to be aware of how your controller is being used, how to best use your controller, and